Hello and welcome back to Crypto Nerd. My name is AJ, here to bring you this cryptocurrency video. So Bitcoin has taken a slight turn for the worst again, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at what I've been doing with my Bitcoin and Ethereum trade. So if that interests you, then please smash a like, subscribe and share this video so we can grow this channel together. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the charts. Jumping straight on into the Bitcoin charts and taking a look at the megaphone pattern, which I've been showing you for a while now. It is a very important pattern. It will be a while until we see Bitcoin either at the top of this pattern or at the bottom of this pattern, but ultimately this is a very important pattern when it comes to the actual breakout point, whether it's the break to the upside or the break to the downside. This VPVR level is an important level as well. We are right now testing that VPVR level right now. You can see that Bitcoin did break above this level. We did find slight support along the level. However, we did have that pretty substantial pullback and then that nice recovery back above that VPVR level. And yesterday we did see another slight pullback in the price of Bitcoin, taking us back below this VPVR level. And yeah, right now Bitcoin is trying to get back above that VPVR level. So I have also shown you this head and shoulders pattern on the daily chart. So you can see the first shoulder here, the head, and the second shoulder here. And this head and shoulders pattern could still play out if we saw the price of Bitcoin come down and in fact test this support level down at the bottom of the head and shoulders pattern. Right now it's too early to tell if this will play out because we need to fully form that second shoulder. And when we do, if we do form that second shoulder, it would be the case of if Bitcoin did break down out of the head and shoulders pattern, or if it did find support on this support level and bounce off that support level. So this is another important pattern on the daily charts, and like the megaphone pattern, it will take a while for this pattern to be invalid, and for it to be invalid it would have to break the top of this head and shoulders pattern at $64,900, and also it would take a while for Bitcoin to actually get down to this support level unless we saw a big candle to the downside. There is another head and shoulders pattern which I have shown you, and that is in fact on the 4 hour. So you can see the first shoulder here, the head here, and the second shoulder which Bitcoin has started to form. It did start to form this second shoulder yesterday. You can see that we did see that slight pullback. Bitcoin is right now trying to recover, but there is a possibility that we could see Bitcoin continue to go down to this support level, which would complete the head and shoulders pattern. And then it would be a case of if Bitcoin were to break down out of the pattern or find support on this yellow support level and bounce off it, invalidating the head and shoulders pattern. Another way we could invalidate the head and shoulders pattern is if we break the top of the head and shoulders pattern at $58,900. So this is a very important chart that we do need to keep an eye on, and I will be keeping you updated on this chart because this could be a pretty significant move for Bitcoin, because it would take Bitcoin all the way down to $47,700 if we were to break down out of this head and shoulders pattern. And ultimately, I wouldn't be all that bothered if we did break down out of this head and shoulders pattern, because we can see that the target actually lines up pretty well with the previous bottom down here at that red line. So you can see the previous bottom down here, and it lines up almost perfectly. So I wouldn't in fact be all that bothered if Bitcoin were to break down and meet this target, because we could find support at this level, because in fact we could form a double bottom W pattern. So you have the first bottom here, and say Bitcoin came all the way down to the price target down here and formed that second bottom. We could in fact form one big W double bottom pattern. As you can see, it would play out something like this, and then ultimately we could put a trade in if Bitcoin were to break this top here, which would be the top of the W pattern. So if I just draw that line in for you now, we could in fact put a long position in from this top line here, and a price target for this move would be all the way up at 70k. So if this played out, this move could take us up to 70k. It is way too early to say that this is going to happen, but it is a possibility if Bitcoin were to break down out of this 4-hour head and shoulders pattern. So it is something we need to keep in mind. Moving on to the hourly chart then, you can see this rising wedge which I have shown you in the past couple of videos, and you can see that Bitcoin did break down out of this rising wedge. An important level at the moment is in fact this white horizontal line at $56,453. You can see that Bitcoin is actually trading just along this line at the moment on the hourly chart, and when we're below it, you can see that Bitcoin is getting resistance at this level. You can see Bitcoin has had lots of resistance. It got rejected here whilst retesting the resistance, and right now it is trying to break above that resistance level. And when we are above this white resistance and support line, you can see that Bitcoin is finding lots of support at this level, and you can see that Bitcoin yesterday did in fact break down. So this is a very important level for Bitcoin at the moment, and Bitcoin looks like it wants to break up out of this resistance level at the moment. And you can see this W pattern, this slight W pattern right here. So if Bitcoin were to actually break up out of this resistance line here, the target would in fact be, so we take it to the top, to the bottom of the W, take it to the breakout, potential breakout point. This could take Bitcoin up to $57,700. So it's not a massive move, but it just gives us a slight understanding of where the price of Bitcoin could go if we were to break above this resistance line. So right now, this is a very important level because Bitcoin is just trading along this horizontal white line. Finally then, taking a look at the 15-minute, where I've been showing you my trades that I've been taking off these charts, because nothing exciting has actually been happening on the bigger time frames. So I told you back here that I was going to put a long position in, and I in fact did put my long position in from that $56,400 level, and I rode this trade all the way up to here, where I started to take profit out of my trade. And the reason I started to take profit out of my trade is because you can see down here Bitcoin was getting very overbought, meaning that there was going to be a period of consolidation or a slight pullback. And in fact, I was right. We did see the price of Bitcoin actually sort of consolidate for a little while before forming this sort of bull flag, which it did break up. And when I took profits out of here, I did actually raise my stop loss to my entry point at $56,400, meaning that I would not lose money in this trade because I've already taken profit here, and my profit would my trade would stop out at my entry point, meaning I would break even. So I did show you this bull flag as well, and it did break up out of this bull flag, where I actually added more to my Bitcoin trade. And then I started to take profit around these tops here, because again we saw that Bitcoin was getting oversold, as you can see on the RSI, the Stoch and the Stoch RSI. So that is why I took profits up here. And I can't stress it enough, you need to take profits when you see warning signs like these, when Bitcoin is getting overbought, because you can see twice this has happened now, where I've taken profit and the price of Bitcoin has actually had a pullback. And in fact, you can see Bitcoin pulled back so far that it actually stopped out my trade, because my entry point was at $56,400 and the price of Bitcoin dipped below that. So I didn't lose money on this trade because I took these two profit taking points here. I took them seriously, and I took 50% out of my trade at both of these points. And then my stop loss was still at that $56,400 level, so my trade did get stopped out yesterday. However, I am not bothered because it was still a successful trade, because I did take the profits up here when I saw the warning signs on the RSI, the Stoch and the Stoch RSIs, which are these white circles and arrows here. And I can't stress it enough, it is important to take profit when your trade is doing well and move your stop loss up to your entry point, because you don't want to turn a very successful trade into a losing trade. That defeats the whole purpose of trading. You want to take profit when your trade is in profits, and when you see warning signs, that is when you take the profits out of your trade. Because like this one here, my trade was doing extremely well, and then it just completely reversed on me and got stopped out all the way down here. So yeah, if your trade is doing extremely well, then I can't stress it enough to just take profit when you start seeing warning signs like I did on the RSI, the Stoch and the Stoch RSI, because when trading you want to minimalise your risks. You want to take the most amount of risk out of your trade. So taking profits and moving your stop loss up to your entry point just minimalises the risk of turning that winning trade into a losing trade. So I don't stress it enough. Make sure you take profit when you see the warning signs. It is always worth it. Moving on to the price of Ethereum then, and talking about my Ethereum trade, where my entry point was at $3,500. It was a little bit high, but I did just want that confirmation of the close above this diamond pattern, and the trade has been fairly slow. It's been in profits at times, it's been at losses, profits, losses, profits, losses. At the moment it is in slight profits as we are slightly recovering from that slight pullback yesterday. And I am still confident in this trade, and the reason is because I have sort of spotted this rising wedge on the Ethereum hourly chart, and you can see that we have found nice support here. So this rising wedge pattern is in fact bearish. However, because we have found the support here, I'm expecting to see Ethereum actually come up to the resistance level, potentially breaking out of it. There is always a possibility that it could roll over and break down out of this pattern, and if we did break down out of this pattern, I would most likely be closing my long position on Ethereum out of this diamond pattern. However, if Ethereum starts to make its way up to the top of the pattern, I will be a lot more confident in my trade than I am now. I am confident in the trade. However, if the price of Ethereum was to come to the top of this resistance level and start testing this level, I'll be a lot more confident. And if we could break up out of this rising wedge, I would be very confident. And the target, if we were to break up, would take us up at around $3,860, close to our price target of the diamond pattern. So if we were to break up out of this rising wedge, the diamond pattern price target at $3,950 could still be in play. However, if we were to break to the downside, we would most likely see Bitcoin down at $3,200 ish. So right now, as of right now, I am holding my Ethereum position open because I do think that we could see some nice profits from this trade. And ultimately, if we do come up to the top of this rising wedge and we do break above that resistance, then I will most definitely be keeping that position open, because we will most likely see Ethereum come up to this price target here. If not up to that price target, then pretty much close to that price target. That will be all for today's video then. Nothing much exciting is happening within the market at the moment. The price of Bitcoin and the price of Ethereum is sort of just consolidating and trading sideways. It's just deciding where it wants to go at the moment. But if you enjoyed this video, please smash a like, subscribe and share this video so we can grow this channel. Thank you.